Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. I'm MKT. It is Wednesday, the 14th of April. We've done it. We 4 months into COVID year 2. Not a bad effort to stay alive at this stage. Remember when they said you could get it through your eyeballs? That was a crazy time. But here we are. Here we are buying mangoes, huh? Just going to the shop, rubbing elbows with other human beings. So we're doing half all right. It wasn't, thank goodness, it wasn't what we first feared as a pandemic. Thank you, science. Science is a great thing. Welcome to the MKT Show. Looking forward to having a great show today. I'm joined by the awesome, handsome, bearded man that is a coffee influencer in Vietnam. After graduate, which doesn't actually mean anything in the academic world, but we throw it in there. James Jimbo Illingsley. James, what you got to say, pal?
I think throwing in the after graduate part is fairly important. Not to the media industry, but it just shows that I'm somewhat educated. Got a degree.
Is it a good thing?
To be educated. Oh, to come from after?
You can answer both.
To be educated, it's a wonderful thing.
Okay.
To come from after, I've heard things in the media industry.
Okay.
About coming from after. Not good things.
What sort of things? What sort of things do you think after kids have a reputation of?
Arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Know-it-all.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be this way. Cables have memory.
Cables do have memory. Yeah. All right. So after kids, huh? They know it all.
Apparently.
Like the Harvard of film school, huh?
A
lot of people are saying.
It's kind of like when you're there, the people, some of the people, I'm not saying all the people.
Yeah.
Some of the people are very much like, I don't know the word to use.
Hipster.
That too.
Dumb.
But you think I'm a hipster, so I'm not sure you know the definition of a hipster.
You do have a bit of a hipster thing going. The glasses, the beard.
Sorry that I can't
like a shoe
see.
collection. Yeah, but I mean, you can have normal glasses. You know, your glasses are like, oh, I want to go to a dive bar and listen to an indie band that hasn't come out yet.
Just by the way, I've had these glasses since before they were cool.
Oh,
Not these
that is
exact
such a
ones.
hipster thing to say.
Oh, no, it is.
No, that's the next.
It is.
So, there you have it. You know, you are what you are. Jimbo, the hipster of all hipsters, man. Good for you, James. Hey, there you go. You revealed yourself to the people, and I was right again. You are a hipster and a nice throwback. All right. What we got coming on the show today? We've got Liverpool. We're going to talk a little bit about the Klopp situation. I think it's kind of shaping itself. Everton Spurs, why that didn't work with Jose and Carlo. I'll tell you why it's been a disaster. And something that's been on my mind, it's starting this weekend, Rainbow Cup. A lot of people are happy. I'm not delighted about South African rugby going north. I'll tell you why. And maybe we'll talk about Gareth Bale today. Who knows? You know, you never know.
I think it's actually been a week now since he's been on the running order.
Yeah, old GB11.
Just all the way at the bottom.
This is what happens. But we got other big, sort of conversations to have. Yesterday, you had an existential crisis.
I did.
Somebody phoned me about my idea on gifts that we touched on. We touched again on it yesterday. Remember?
We did.
The movie thing. She disagreed with me there.
So you are the crazy one because I disagreed with you also.
Yeah, you did. But I'm obviously right. But again, I live in a complex now that is my dream place, just for the rules. So in the place I live in, have I told you this?
What, where kids aren't allowed?
Yeah, no kids. You're not allowed kids below a certain age, and no pets. It's just a dream. It's like I've moved to heaven on earth. I mean, I don't believe in the Bible.
I was about to say that something doesn't add up there.
You get the gist of what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah. So anyway,
look, each to their own, right?
Yeah, not really. I hate that. I hate each to their own. No, me to mine. Like, well, whatever. No.
Yeah, but you're an each, and you like your own.
I don't like the each to his own. Like, let's just have rules. Let's have lots of rules. I'm all about lots of rules.
People don't thrive under many, many rules, though.
People need to be controlled, James. People are animals. We leave people to their own devices. What are they doing? Eating Doritos everywhere and becoming obese. The problem is you need rules.
You leave me to my own devices in the morning when I'm prepping the show, and here we are.
And what are you up to? Oh, James Production. Listen, if you need technical help or something to be fixed, get James on it.
Provided you're using Live Stream Studio and a roadcaster, and a black magic.
Yeah. Provided I've told you exactly what to do,
Yeah, exactly.
I'll leave you to it. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Good stuff. James, good to have you in here, pal.
Good stuff.
Great beard, looking good. Hair's looking good.
Always.
Let's get into it. So Liverpool and the Champions League will go through a painful divorce tonight. But that's okay. That's life. It happens. But before we get into that, let me tell you a real life thing. As in, everybody thinks their 19, 20, 25-year-old friend, oh my goodness, what's going on with this person? Right? With their personality. Why haven't you changed? Listen, at 6 or 7, you are who you are. By the age of 6 or 7, your personality is formed. Now, will you get a little more idiosyncratic? You'll figure out the world, how to manipulate people around you, maybe get better at what you like to get. But by 6 or 7, if you're a bully at 6, right, you're a bully. Like, that's going to be the rest of your life. If you're kind, loving at 6, 7, that's what you are. Your personality by 6 or 7 is formed. Right? The reality is this. People don't change. Now, I know, again, we love to go to Indonesia or India or Vietnam on yoga courses and all wear tight pants and chant around each other and believe that people grow and they become spiritual beings or whatever malarkey you latte drinking yuppies like to say on Instagram, right? The reality is people don't change. Now, we live in a time where, hey, let's hear everyone's opinion. Now, I'm not a bigger proponent of that, but okay, I'll let it be. But understand, if you don't want to be disappointed in this world, understand, people don't change. That's not me saying that. That is the analytics. That is life. 6 or 7, your personality is formed, and quite frankly, people don't change. Listen, Jurgen Klopp spent 7 years at his 2 previous jobs. Not 1 job, 2 jobs. Why do Liverpool fans think he's going to change now? Folks, personality types like that, he's 53 now. He ain't changing. And you know what else he is now? A Champions League and a league champion. He ain't changing now. He ain't becoming a 15-year manager. He's not going to become more tolerant. That's not what's going to happen. I don't understand why Liverpool think they're going to change Jurgen Klopp now. Because he left both clubs after 7 years. He's in year 6. That's all I've got to say. The alarm bell should be going off now, and you should be preparing to move on, even if he was successful now. All right? Even if he was successful, you should be preparing. You should go, red flag. And not because Jurgen Klopp's a terrible person, but folks, we are who we are. By 7, your personality is formed. Folks, he didn't leave Mainz and then Dortmund after 7 years, and it's coinky dinky. Once coinky dinky, twice, that's who you are. Sorry. We are who we are. Listen, I've got friends, right? These people will complain. They'll meet a girl or a guy at a pub, at a Sunday party. Party boy, party girl. And 3 months in, be shocked that the person you're with is a party boy or a party girl. Because you thought, I'm the one to change him. Like, do you know these people? Girl, guy, I'll change him. I'll change her. If she's with me, she'll settle down. Sorry, bad news for you. It is bad news for you. People don't change. But you know who knows this? It's smart people. And I believe Liverpool, as it stands, John W. Henry, one of the most successful people in the world, all right, he knows this. They are definitely interviewing Jurgen Klopp's replacement. Definitely. Like, not possibly. This is what billionaires do. Fans love their clubs. Billionaires love money. And you know how you stack up lots of money? You don't get emotional. You understand people don't change. You understand that people are predictably unpredictable. You understand that, right? So people are predictable. Their nature is unpredictable, but that's predictable. And then you know that by 6, if you're smart, people don't change. They know after 7 years, it is the time to pull the ejector button. I know it started, right? Folks, if you're a grown-up, you want to be a billionaire, you just follow patterns for 30 years, right? You commit maniacally to patterns. That's how John W. Henry became a billionaire. Not because he tried to change everybody around him. It's like, okay, here's what I can control, here's what I can't. Jurgen Klopp can't control that with his personality type, he's not going to last longer than 7 years at a football club. And lastly, here's the important thing. And you've seen it before. This is what I don't understand about people. And men especially, right? Men don't learn. Folks, you've seen what happens when you stay too long. You've just seen Arsene Wenger. Pull the cord a year early. Right? Pull the cord a year early. What's the worst that can happen? Because I tell you what, everybody who thinks Jurgen Klopp came to Liverpool and turned it around immediately, you are deluded. It took him 5 years to be successful. And you got to blow the squad up, right? You're probably going to lose. Van Dijk might go. Salah might go. You're going to have to lose Mane or Firmino. Two of those front three, I don't see them playing at Liverpool next season. Even if they do, we've seen the best of them. Now you got to blow it up. The midfield's injury prone. Okay, we know that now. So you're probably going to have to make a choice. Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita, Fabinho. You're going to need somebody else because all three are injury prone. We've seen that now. I'm not just saying that. They've all had major injuries over the last 2 years. And Keita, you can't even rely on because he's never fit. That's 70 million wasted. You're going to have to take 20, 30 million and move on. Jordan Henderson, because the problem is he's going to move into his late 20s and 30s now, and that's not going to get any better. And Jurgen Klopp, as we've seen, Thiago was a mistake. Like, just admit it now. Thiago, sell him now. Don't try and rescue that. That's a disaster. It's a car crash. You know why? Again, Jurgen Klopp, he is who he is. Get another efficient midfielder. I don't know why he tried to be happier than happy and get a creative defensive mid. Thiago was never going to work in that system. He needs functional in that midfield. Fabinho, Keita, Henderson, functional. No pretty stuff. Liverpool were cutting edge and typically German. Cutting edge, clinical, direct. That's how they were slicing teams apart. Thiago wants to stand on the ball. That hasn't worked. Folks, you know what? When you're in a relationship and it's had its good times, learn to enjoy it and then get out of it when it's done. Jurgen Klopp's expiration date is coming. They'll lose to Real Madrid 2-3-0 tonight, 2-3-1, whatever it may be. They may get some goals, but that's over. They're not making top four, and it'll never be like it was before. It's okay. It's okay. Are you willing to wait another 5 years for Jurgen Klopp to win? And that's not guaranteed either, because you've kind of seen when things go bad, it doesn't just go half bad. Are you seeing Liverpool this season? This is what it looks like. And you don't know. This could be another 2-3 years. Because Henderson's injuries aren't going to get any better. Naby Keita's not going to get any better. Thiago was a mistake. You're going to have to take another gamble on maybe 2 more midfielders. Centre back, I don't know if Van Dijk's coming back the same. When is Joey Gomez coming back? And by the way, here's the problem. Injured young, trust me, I've been watching football my whole life. Injured young like that is injured old. So Joey Gomez is not, trust me, you are not getting a full season out of him for the rest of his career. Forget it. Major injuries, young Alexandra Pato. We saw what happened there. You had Aaron Ramsey if you're an Arsenal fan. Injured young, especially major injuries, is injured old. So who's the back four? Is Trent the guy? I know people love him going forward, but you've seen this season when it's not perfect, and it's taken Jurgen Klopp 5 years to get it perfect. What happens if you don't find another Mo Salah? What happens if Sadio Mane's had enough? Get rid of the manager. It's been sweet. Keep the core of the team, because I think they're done with Jurgen Klopp. It's not because he's a bad person, but bloody hell, winning's hard. And then when you've got a guy that demanding, sorry. So they're not making top four this season, and they're losing Champions League. So you're not in the Champions League next season. You probably can't attract the quality to upgrade. For me, move on. It's time to start a new cycle. Folks, people are who they are. Jurgen Klopp, his last 2 jobs after 7 years, it was all over. Learn to move on. Jimbo, you're a Liverpool guy, huh?
That is a correct statement.
Jurgen Klopp, it's over now. Like, why is it so hard for people to? I was chatting to somebody yesterday who's a Liverpool fan, and I was looking at some stuff online. It's over. Like, what am I missing? There's nothing left there. Mane's done. The Salah thing doesn't look comfortable. I'm not so hot on Alexander Arnold, and maybe Alexander Arnold with another coach. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong, and you can't fix it. It's almost like after your husband or wife has cheated on you and people try and fix it, it's never the same. Like, you're never going to have Liverpool 2 years ago. You're not going to have it again.
I don't think it's over necessarily. I don't think, we're never going to be that Premier League competing side ever again. I think what Klopp has done is he's built an incredible team of youngsters in Curtis Jones and in Alexander Arnold. Robertson is still fairly young.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in my opinion, I think with the whole new fixture adjustment, with COVID and games being played without breaks because you have to fit in and plan for the following season, and then there's international breaks, and then we have Euro qualifiers because those are important. And I think Liverpool have struggled to cope with that because a lot of their players have been among some of the best in the world for the past 2 or 3 seasons now. Obviously winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues and Super Cups and whatever else. I think Liverpool players have been in high demand for their national sides, so a lot more players have been under a lot more pressure to perform, both national sides for their club. And without a break, it's become very hard to, heavy metal football on the Saturday, and then, okay, cool, we've got our week and chill. Then heavy metal football on the Sunday, and then, but now it's like with the Champions League every 2 seconds, and I don't know. I think Liverpool are struggling to cope with that. And even Pep Guardiola said it a couple of weeks ago. He said, "How is this fair on the players? FIFA and UEFA need to relook at these schedules because the players are exhausted. How can these federations expect the players to perform to their 100% capabilities on a weekly basis if the fixture schedule is insane?"
Fair enough. I mean, the problem is everyone's got the same problem, right? So Pep, whatever he's got, of course, he's going to say, I think it's just so he comes out looking like a hero. Like, oh, players were tired and I still whipped everyone. But Liverpool shouldn't be 7th. Like, there's a rebuild, there's a fall off, and then there's that. Like,
yeah, no, sure.
Like, the problem with that personality type, right? Let me tell you, is that, with some people, I don't know, in a breakup, or you have uncomfortable moments with partners, moms, with some personality types, it falls off a cliff, right?
Yeah.
Like, you fight with somebody and it's just like, oh my goodness, this is going to be World War III. Or there are some people who sit down, let's talk about it. The problem with the personality type with Jurgen Klopp, because the highs are so high, inevitably the lows are this, right? Is what Wijnaldum gone, Henderson's injury. I mean, he'll pick up a major injury a season. Fabinho loves an injury. Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, that's your core 5 in midfield. They're all injury prone. Like, quality, they stayed fit for 18 months, lightning in a bottle. But this is actually more the reality of what they all are, right? Time shows you what they are. What do you do about having to reset 4 or 5 people? Thiago was a mistake, right? Can we sort of admit that?
I think he's an incredible playmaker and an incredible midfielder. I don't think he fits heavy metal football too well.
Yeah. And what do you do? Move on, or do you keep him? Try again.
I think finish out this season, see if it works. Maybe relook at tactics, because I mean, within the mix, how many games are left?
7.
7. Yeah, City only have 6. Within the next 6 or 7 games, the table's gonna be pretty much decided. Maybe even in far fewer games. So I think it's pointless now to rattle the whole squad and say, okay, well, Thiago, we're selling you in August anyway, so you're kind of not going to be in the starting XI, or you're not going to be on the bench. I think doing that approach, you risking not coming top 4, which is already a risk.
I don't think you're coming top 4. I think it's going to be tough. You got to come over. It's West Ham, it's Chelsea.
It's only West Ham and Chelsea. Hang on.
Leicester.
Well, I mean, we can still come 4th.
Can you? Well, what about Liverpool says you can come 4th? Do you think you of the games that are left? Forget who you're playing. You're going to win 3 because you are what you are. The table shows you what you are. Right? How many games have you won in the league?
This is a depressing table to look at.
How many wins?
We have won 15 out of 31 games.
So that's half of your game. So that means you'll win 3 more games if the law of averages holds, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to be enough to get in.
Well, we have to hope and pray that West Ham and Chelsea don't win those 3 games either.
Okay, but that's not going to happen. Like Leicester, the way the table tells you what you are, right? Leicester might collapse, West Ham might collapse, but then you're hoping Chelsea and West Ham and no, it's not going to happen. Plus, you haven't shown that you can take care of your own business. So, look, you've only won 50% of your games. The law of averages says you'll win 3 more. That ain't going to be enough. 9 more points ain't going to do it. Chelsea are going to pick up more than 9 points. West Ham are going to pick up more than 9 points. Leicester are picking up more than 9 points in 7 games, for sure. And they're, 5-6 points ahead of you right now. Anyway, you're going to be out of the Champions League tonight, most likely. I think you will be, definitely. Yeah, you were rubbish.
I disagree.
Okay, well, so Klopp out if he's not top 4 and fails to be win the Champions League tonight, be in the final, semi-final, or do you give it another year? Because my thing is, it took 5 years to get where you are now. Are you willing to? Because you're going to have to reset, right? A lot.
But we're not going to have to reset completely, though, because we've already sort of built the foundation and almost a full structure in players like Sadio Mane, Firmino. He's there, but he's a playmaker every now and then, and that's great. And like you say, we have injuries in key players like Henderson, and that's at least once a season. But we have built a squad, a 23-man squad, not just a first 11, that I think are capable of taking Liverpool places. So I don't think it's a full reset that we'll have to do at the end of the season. I think maybe some hard choices have to be, looked at or made behind the scenes. If Wijnaldum, honestly,
well, he's gone.
You're not happy with your 400 million a week. Leave, we'll take the money, sign a new midfielder who's consistent and fits into not just the Klopp. You see, that's the thing. When does his contract run out? 23.
Who's that?
Klopp.
I don't know, but it's over. For me, it's over. Like, you can't get them back to those levels of 2 years ago. It has to be new guys. Because guys get tired of heavy metal. Like, demanding is hard to, kind of stay in that for a long time. For me, I think it's over. Honestly, I don't see Klopp. If you keep him, he's gone by, 2 months into the next season. Because it's over. It's just you can see the Trent situation, and it has to be perfect. Again, it's, every club takes on the personality of their manager. You can see your system. It has to be working perfectly, and you have to have the perfect midfielders. Fabinho, Henderson, Wijnaldum, functional, everyone has to be in a system, or it's a disaster. Do you know what I mean? Like an
Yeah.
With Pep, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Because there's layers to what he's doing at City. So he doesn't fall from 1st to 6th, 7th. 4th is a disaster for City. Fergie didn't have to be perfect. 1st to 3rd is a disaster. This is the personality type, though. For me, with Klopp, winning is hard enough, and then you get somebody, that personality, that's grinding on top of the winning thing, It's really demanding to win mentally. And it's not that Klopp's a bad manager, but it's like in a relationship. You don't have to, neither the girl or guy have to be bad people for a breakup to happen. Sometimes things have run their course. And he's been at the previous 2 clubs 7 years, and it ended. That's a pattern for me. Like, I'm not interested in being romantic. I like to look for patterns in life. Like, don't tell me you want to be somebody's husband and you're still drinking on Sundays. Like, no, like, seriously. Like, we are who we are, right?
You know what I think Liverpool has on their side, though? Is, players like Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, Henderson when he's not injured.
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold, Robertson. They're all still seen as world-class players because of the recent silverware winnings.
Yeah.
So I think attracting a new manager, whether it's next season or when Klopp's contract runs out, wouldn't be such a hard thing. Attracting a manager that can take Liverpool back to the top again.
Yeah.
A manager that is, I'm not saying he will take the Liverpool job, but a manager that's on a similar level to Pep.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think it's all doom and gloom for Liverpool. Every team's prone to a rough patch. Man United's been going through one for 8 years now.
Yeah, because they made the same mistake. They tried to get Fergie 2.0, right? Like, don't be nostalgic in life. Like, what does the data tell you? David Moyes should never have been a Man United. That's hilarious. Like, when it's time to go. They should have had Pep.
Who, Man United?
Yes. They went to season 2 late, and then he took the sabbatical.
Imagine Man United went from Sir Alex Ferguson, who took them to Lord knows how much silverware,
13.
to Pep Guardiola.
But that's what should have happened. And they botched it.
I'm kind of glad it didn't. It keeps football interesting. I was looking at the log now. The top 9 sides, actually 8, because Arsenal's not. The top 8 sides are all relatively capable of either winning the Premier League or coming top 4.
No, it's
Champions League.
This is why it's the best product on earth. There is no better product than the Premier League. The illusion of sort of competitive fairness is what the Premier League's got, right? That La Liga doesn't have, Germany doesn't have, France doesn't have. It's a great league. And listen, the thing is about staying relevant. Liverpool are... Do you know what the problem is? Is Liverpool thing, it's over. And I'm telling you, when the breakup is bitter, like it's going to be if you stay another season too long with Klopp and guys are tired of him, is you got to remember is the next manager you've seen from Man United, it's not always a sure thing. In fact, your club knows. Kenny Dalglish, 30 years. You know what the thing is in life, try not to make big decisions when there's chaos. You can control it now. You're like, okay, we love Klopp, but it's over. He left 7 years at Mainz, 7 years at Dortmund. This is going to happen. We know it's coming because we've seen the pattern. You control it. Get Nagelsmann in on your thing. Don't go chasing when you're desperate now in his 6 months and Klopp and it's over and he's had a hard year as well. His mum passed away. Like, it's a lot. And his cycles at the end. And we are who we are. Get Nagelsmann now. You control it. You know where you're going. It's planned. You're not Chelsea. Like, Chelsea have Roman Abramovich as the center of the business model. Liverpool are all about, get the cult-like manager. And now, there's no ways you're going to get your first choice if you've got to make it in 6 months. Nagelsmann is not leaving Leipzig in the middle of the season, or whoever it may be. Allegri is not coming middle of the season. Big managers very rarely, right? Very, very rarely. When Klopp came, it was unique because he really, from what I read, wasn't supposed to come back, but the Rodgers thing just fell off a cliff, right? Oof. They were hoping end of the season. For me, look, if he doesn't... For me, I'd move on regardless of what happens in the rest of the season. Even if he wins the Champions League and comes top 4. Because his expiration date, it's coming. Arsenal made this mistake with Wenger. When it's over, it's over.
Yeah, Arsenal definitely kept Wenger for like 2 or 3 seasons longer than they should have.
10 seasons. 10. But anyway, listen, you're in love with Jurgen Klopp. It is what it is.
It's a Liverpool thing.
It is a Liverpool thing.
I believe wholeheartedly that tonight we're going to pull off a miracle. I am the same person, I'll have you know, that So you didn't know me when Liverpool played Barca and that whole thing happened last season.
You're right, I didn't.
I am the same person, okay? When we won that Champions League, I'm the same person that when we got drawn against Barca,
Yeah.
I knew we were going through to the next round. And people were like, oh, they've just scored 4 goals against you. You stand no chance. I was like, watch. Watch it happen at Anfield. Things are going to change. And that's exactly
Did you do your magic? Like the witch, what do you call it?
What, like a rain dance?
No. What do you call it when all the witches get together and they draw the star vibes stuff?
Like a cult.
Yeah,
What are you talking
yes, it is a cult. Don't you know when witches gather around a table and they do? It's not a séance, man. What's it called when they do their blood magic? But there's a name for when they gather. Do you know that table with the 5 stars or whatever?
It sounds kind of satanic. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I'm not a witch, so I don't know if it's satanic. But so witches do gather and then they cast their spell. So did you spill some blood for Beelzebub?
No, I just, when I have these gut feelings, they are rarely wrong.
Oh, okay.
They are wrong sometimes, but very rarely.
Your gut is never wrong, huh?
And I have that feeling tonight. I think
What feeling? Well, tell me exactly what feeling you've got.
that we're gonna beat Real Madrid.
How much?
I couldn't tell you. I think we're gonna do just enough to cross the finish line.
That means, so you reckon you could win 2-0 tonight? Good Lord Almighty.
That's the thing, dude. When Liverpool are hungry, they are mentality monsters.
This is madness. So you're going to have Kabak at the back against Vinicius, and you think, okay, hilarious. Listen, you were telling me about some stuff you were watching on TV yesterday. I don't have Netflix because I'm not rich like James. Was it on Netflix?
No, my power was out, so it was a movie from my hard drive. What was it again?
You tell me.
Oh Lord, this is so awkward.
So what? You can't even remember what you did last night? James, what is happening in your life? Are you just are you on the booze? Do we need to talk about it? Let's cancel the sports show, guys. We're going to cancel James. James, what's going on? Are you having problems at home?
No.
So why are you boozing so much that you can't remember last night?
I don't think I've had a beer in like a week.
James, clearly there's problems. If you can't remember what you did last night, and it's a whole movie as well. It's 2 hours.
What did I watch?
Oh my goodness gracious! Who is this guy? Unbelievable. Do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix.
What's hot on Netflix right now? Have you been are you one of those like watching documentaries types or?
Yeah, a couple of documentaries.
Okay.
I watched a thing. I don't know if I spoke about it on the show already. Why is everything just leaving my mind?
How did you get through after?
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. This guy.
I do watch a couple of documentaries on Netflix.
Are you lying to just impress me?
No,
I don't mind if you don't watch documentaries. Like,
No.
That's not going to cost you your job.
The disappearance at the...
This is unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what AFTA produces. James's mother, father, and family and grandparents worked their tail off to pay tens of thousands of rands for you to go to an educational institution, and you can barely remember what you did last night. Did you wear underwear this morning?
I did.
Okay, how did you remember that? I'm shocked by that.
Because I got out the shower and put on my
But you can't remember Netflix series.
No,
you can't remember what you did last night.
No, we had to talk about the Netflix thing, or what I watched last night. And there was a reason, and I can't remember it, and I'm very sad right now.
Wow, James. Okay, sorry, folks. James is actually going through some stuff at home.
I'm going to get the name now.
And that's tough. That's tough. Oof. James, remember, everyone's here for you. Your girlfriend loves you.
Ready Player One.
Okay, but I don't believe you now. Like the fact that you have to Google it.
No, it's here on my VLC. It's what I watched last.
All right, let's hear it.
Ready Player One.
What is it?
It's been out for a couple of years now.
What is it?
It's a Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh, Spielberg's great.
Where everyone lives in this virtual world. So everyone's wearing like an Oculus almost.
Cool.
The virtual reality thing.
Oh yeah.
And then so the world is like post-apocalyptic. 2027, I think.
Okay.
Which is not far away from us.
6 years, yeah.
Post-apocalyptic, and everyone kind of leaves this post-apocalyptic world to escape into this world where they can imagine anything.
So the Oculus is like you can imagine it and it's a reality.
Yeah. So like people have like in their living rooms, they put this thing on, and then they're like racing cars or playing golf on 8 planets.
But that just sounds like I've got an Oculus.
Dude, it's
Why is that a Spielberg movie?
because then like a government department gets involved,
Yeah.
and they want to control the Oasis, is what it's called, and they have to have this whole race to find the Easter eggs.
So now, if I go to so in I mean, do you know what that sounds like?
A great show.
No,
Great movie.
no. It just sounds like I guess it always happens. But it sounds like what's it? Is it 1942? The book?
Oh, by George Orwell.
Yeah.
I haven't read it.
You should read it. It's a good book.
Why does it sound like that?
The Establishment. Oh well, you got to read the
Oh,
book.
because yeah, I'm with
Yeah,
you.
there's a whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. That was a bad synopsis.
It was.
You shouldn't do movie reviews. Terrible.
You need to
That was a terrible.
let me know before time, and then I can do proper movie. I went
Let's hear it.
to film school.
Yeah, you did. You went after, and that film review and your inability to remember stuff lets me know everything I need to know. That was a terrible movie review. But Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
You recommend it?
It's like it's really good. It's an action movie. It has the normal cliche ending of the good guys always win, but not gonna get away from that. It's really good. It takes you on a journey.
Okay. So how many stars? Barry Ronger. You don't know who that is, but Barry Ronger used to give stars for movies.
So wait, before I give my answer, we have 2 segments with James now. It's social media with James.
Well, this can't be
And then
this
movie
can't be a segment
reviews.
because you can't remember what you watched less than 24 hours
Well,
ago.
I didn't know it was going to become a segment.
Well, do you know what? I didn't know that I'd use calculus, but I still remember a lot of the analogies and everything that I need and the methodology. I still remember calculus.
Why?
Well, because I'm not a clown. What are you talking about? Why? Because I studied, and my brain. Oh, lo and behold, I can remember stuff.
I did maths lit, so calculus is like.
Yeah, and so maths wasn't lit for you, clearly. If you're doing maths lit.
Don't
know what I
try and relate to us youngsters.
Trying to relate to the youngsters. All right, James. Okay, guys, we're going to have to talk to James about his boozing problem that he clearly has.
I don't. Okay.
How come you can remember? Incredible. All right, James on the booze. We'll move on. Good stuff, James. Terrible movie reviews, but good guy. Good
Tomorrow
guy.
I'll be better with the movie reviews.
Well, that's what you say. I mean, how do I know that?
Because I.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Okay, well, it is what it is. Folks, if you send your kids to AFTA, that is what will happen. Mush for brains, but a nice guy. Look, James, great guy. You need a production put together? Get James. He'll solve your technical issues. Do not ask him anything about calculus or to remember what he did 10 hours ago, because apparently it's amazing I can remember calculus, which I did 20 years ago. But James can't remember what he had for dinner last night, which is okay,
it's
James.
selective knowledge.
Memory is the word.
No, but I delete the knowledge that I don't want
That's
in my
not how
brain.
the brain works. The brain is the brain's not a storeroom.
Tell me,
it's not your garage at home. It's an infinite. It's actually been proven that it's actually an infinite storage unit. So these people who want to go and draw stuff at art school and do contemporary dance, who think mathematics isn't important, say that kind of stuff. Like, oh, I've only got so much space in my brain. No, we have science that's proven. Neuroscience is a literal course I did. It's literally an infinite storage thing. You can have, if we could live forever, you could have infinite synapses. So no, you don't have limited brain capacity. The problem is that you're boozing on a Tuesday night on your own. Your girlfriend and you need to have some conversations. James, I'm done with this conversation.
I'm just saying I don't drink alone.
Well, that's what you say.
I never drink alone.
Well, were you alone last night when you can't even remember the movie? I want to move on now, James. We're a sports show. Your problems are not everyone else's problems. Let's move on. Folks, we're going to talk about Everton and Spurs. All right, there's a reason that's not working. There's a reason that's not working. Before we get into that, I'm gonna have to deliver a truth to all of us. If you're dating someone, right, date on your level. You must always date on your level. Economically, looks-wise, right? That's balanced out by personality, but that comes on the back end, and very few people have personalities. But only 8s are available, right? The highest ceiling of looks, quality of human being that's available is 8. If you're a 9 or a 10, you're married. That's a fact. All the good ones are taken. That's true. 9 and 10s are taken. Stop saying, oh, my girlfriend's a 10. No, she's not. You would have married her. My boyfriend's a 10. No, he's not. He'd be married. Right? But 8s should date 8s. 7s, 7s. Never date down, never date up. Stop trying to fix people. People are who they are. Right? And I truly believe in this. If you work hard, I don't care what economic background you come from. If you work hard, get a job, figure out society, figure out networking, work your way up, university, you're part of the SRC, and you work your way up, you make a little bit more money. Right? You come out of a suburb where you don't want to be, you move into a nice suburb, you find your own place, you get a nice car that you can afford, you sort out your financial situation, you can afford 2 holidays a year. Don't date somebody that's a mess because you feel sorry for them. I don't know where this narrative has come from. You don't need to save people. If you turn yourself into a 7, 8, 9, date 8s, marry 9s, marry 10s. If you're a 10, have the confidence to say, bloody hell, I deserve this life. I deserve it. But you know what people do? I love her. I love him. I can save him. Folks, there's no saving other people. There is no saving people. Sorry. Be that which you wish to be dated by. You can't save people, I'm telling you. And we all have friends, right? You're like, what the hell is she doing with that guy? What is he doing with her? She's a lunatic. He's a lunatic. He's sorted. He's worked 10 years to build a career. He's upper management now. Drives a beautiful German car. Lives in a certain part of the country. He's healthy. He's got a good family relationship with his mom and dad. And then he's dating this mental case. This happens all the time. Folks, you can't save people. Date in your class, please. Tired of hearing tension. I have it in my own life with people. When you do well, date better people. Jose Mourinho and Carlo Ancelotti are a good example. What are they doing at Spurs and Everton? What on earth is Jose Mourinho doing at Everton and Carlo at Everton? Spurs, Everton. Because Jose Mourinho, he's really an 8. It's tough. He's not marriage material but for a manager. It's tough, right? He'd be if you're a 9 or a 10, you're taken. Carlo Ancelotti's a 9, 8. What are they doing at Everton? It was never going to work. Spurs is a 4. Everton's a 2. 8s and 4s, 8s and 2s shouldn't be together. Sorry. I know everybody thinks I'm a beautiful person. Sorry, that's not enough. It's not enough to be the light in the room. People work hard. People get to certain levels. But when you get to that level, learn to date in your own class. Carlo Ancelotti should never be at Everton. I don't know who his advice team is. I don't care how romantic the picture was. And here's this crazy idea. People always think she or he's a terrible person. Oh, but they've got money. That'll fix them. Yeah, that makes them a better person. No. Money doesn't change people. It makes them more of who they are. Everton and Spurs have been incompetent for 20, 30 years. So more money is only going to make them more incompetent. Look at the players they've bought. Look at the players that Daniel Levy went and replaced Gareth Bale with. That's not a shock. That's Spurs. Everton have spent, 200 million? Spurs, 170 million over the last 2 years for these managers. Between these clubs, 400 million spent. That doesn't solve any problems. Money only highlights your problems, by the way. Because when like Everton now get rich, Spurs are starting to get rich, is then you see how terrible their decision making is. Just like your friends, your family. You've seen what happens. Your cousins, they make a little money and they're a douchebag. What do they do? They take the douchebaggery to the next level. If somebody is a boozer, they just buy nicer booze and drink it on Tuesday mornings. An alcoholic's going to be an alcoholic. Everton are going to be Everton. Spurs are going to be Spurs. The money's not going to change those clubs. Of course it's not going to work. Folks, you have friends. She's a grown-up. She's got her own apartment. She's paid off the bond. And now she's dating some guy with a motorbike and tattoos. And he's 33. Oh, he's cool. Yeah. Please, do me a favor. And then she's miserable and she's complaining to her mom. She's complaining to her brothers and sisters. You bring that on yourself. I have no empathy for Jose Mourinho. I have no empathy for Carlo Ancelotti. They shouldn't be at Everton. They shouldn't be at Spurs. 8s shouldn't date 4s and 2s. Everton and Spurs are what they are. Folks, don't try and fix people. Date in your class. And don't feel bad about it. Jose Mourinho should be at PSG. He should be at Bayern Munich. He should be at Real Madrid. He shouldn't be mucking around in North London. People don't change. Date in your range. Simple as.
Simple as.
Simple as. I don't understand. Do you know who Friedrich Nietzsche is, James? I can't imagine that after anybody would know who that is.
Sounds like a disease.
So do you know the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger?
Kelly Clarkson's song.
No, Friedrich Nietzsche saying. Yeah, he came before Kelly Clarkson. Great show host she is, by the way. Great singer as well.
I mean, that's why I thought of her first.
Yeah, but no, it came, some guy called Friedrich Nietzsche. So he said all anxiety, so all human suffering, right, is the gap between who you actually are versus who you want to be. Shall I say that again? Because you probably haven't heard it ever at AFTA.
Isn't that part of that study of your, like, alter ego kind of thing also?
Okay, different guy, Freud. So you're talking about Freud? That's a different guy?
No, because I'm trying to remember. So we had this class at AFTA, right?
Uh-huh.
It was called production course. And you had to pass that to pass into the next year. Like, that was a requirement.
Like any university?
Yeah, so that was that class where you had to have, like, the perfect attendance. That was that course.
Okay.
And it was basically like the psychology behind films, and then also like human interaction almost. And I remember the surname of the person you're speaking about now that you're going on about him.
Okay.
And he was in the same, we spoke about him in the same lecture as Freud with the whole alter ego thing. Okay. Anyway, it's your show. You continue speaking now.
So you went to Cambridge, right? So you sound like a doctor there.
What?
That's
Is that the smartest you've ever heard me?
No. What are you talking about? So Freud, by the way, let's not spread misinformation. So he came up with the idea of the ego came with Sigmund Freud. But he spoke of the super ego. People can go and read this on their own. Don't want to give philosophy lessons here. But listen, Freud, different guy, super ego, different thing. Nietzsche does talk about the ego, but yes, it's slightly different. But Freud, whole different.
I'm on the right track.
No idea what you're talking about, but okay. So Freud says human suffering is the gap between who you want to be, right, and who you actually are. So we're all striving to be somebody, right? You might strive to be a better boyfriend, a better son, whatever, better at your job. And you're not like actually pushing to your own potential, in every department. And no one's perfect. We all.
Sure.
I want to be a better son. I want to be a better brother to my sister, whatever. It's never perfect. But so there's always that gap, right? Who you actually are versus who you want to be. And I think Spurs and Everton are the gap between. Carlo Ancelotti doesn't want to be at Everton. That gap's too big, right? Like Ancelotti should be at Bayern Munich again.
It's quite a fall from grace.
No, it's ridiculous. And I'm huge on date in your own class. Of course this was never going to work. Like, Ancelotti wants to win Champions League titles. Everton are caring about top 6.
You know what I think he wanted to do is be like that manager. You know, that manager that comes into the Premier League or into a new league and takes a team that nobody ever thought, like Leicester. Takes a team to, top 2 Champions League place.
Never happens. Happened once. Anomaly. Anomaly is not the rule. So I never understood why either manager would be there. I don't understand what Jose is doing.
Yeah, no, look, the Jose thing, that still perplexes me to this day. From the moment they announced it, I was like, you've gone from Real Madrid, winning Champions League.
Trebles. Everywhere. At Porto. Everywhere you go. Chelsea, 3 league titles. And now you got to deal with Eric Dyer.
Oh, Lord.
You had Ricky Carvalho at a stage. You had Sergio Ramos. Of course it's not going to work. Honestly, it's like if you're dating somebody and she's an accountant, pays off her bond, and you still want to go wakeboarding every weekend and get hammered on Saturdays, and you have a motorbike, and you want to you're saving for your next tattoo. Like, no, that's not going to work. Neither's wrong. But surfer cool dude, sorry, get out the way. She's an adult. She maybe wants to go skiing at the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work.
Mm.
Jose Mourinho is an 8. Spurs are a 2, 3, 4, maybe, at most. And you should date in your class. Like this idea that everyone, I want to meet somebody to complete me. Rubbish.
Yeah, but what if you don't know what your class is?
Well,
I mean, when you're Mourinho, you kind of know.
Yes. Do you know what? People know what they are, but the world is always convincing you, be humble. Be nice to people. No. Like, I believe if people work hard and they've got their lives together, they should be with people who work hard and have their lives together. And no one's perfect. Mourinho's not perfect.
I mean...
Oh, what are you saying? Oh, I see what you're saying. Is this about you?
I mean...
Oh, man. So you're saying your girlfriend's lucky to have you?
Someone has to do it, right?
So you're saying your girlfriend's lucky to have you, huh? Is that what you're saying? Let's get into it now, James.
I was just kidding.
Okay, so you're not going to... But you aren't
kidding.
saying your girlfriend's lucky to be with you?
Wait, I'm not saying that?
Or are you saying that? Is that what you're saying? I need to get to the bottom of this.
I wasn't saying either of those things.
Ah, James. Mr. Perfect, huh? That'll be an interesting conversation. Because, listen, also in every relationship, and it's happening now with Everton and Spurs, there's a reacher and a settler, right? In every relationship. Unless you're like a 9 or a 10, you're married then. Then both of you are married, you're 2 kids in.
Then you're moving on.
And you like working hard on your relationship. And no one's perfect, it's hard, but 9s and 10s are self-aware people that are also healthy, that also have good family connections. Like, they don't exist. They're unicorns, right? They're somewhere, they're married, and they live in estates, and they're all, I don't know, doing whatever they do there. But us, like normal people, 8s and down, that are dating, and they're like nice people, it's tough out here, you know?
It is. It is, and I think, I don't know, I think someone needs to tell Jose and Carlo that they're in the wrong class.
It makes no sense.
Maybe they are doing it for A, the love of football, and B, to manage a team in the Premier League.
You know what happens is Mourinho, I think, it's that thing where people keep saying, oh, he can't do it without like Real Madrid money or Chelsea. Like, why do you care what people think? Like, Pep, have the ego to go, screw all of you. I've worked my backside off. Of course I'm staying in a big team. Like, you shouldn't be operating with Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez. Like, Jose Mourinho should be at Bayern Munich. That's his level. Yeah. Like, because the problem is he comes and Spurs will celebrate the North London derby win. Let me give you an example. Mourinho's like, what the hell are you talking about? That's 3 points. Let's get on with it. You see how big the gap is in the mentalities. So, of course, Spurs is not going to work with him because Jose Mourinho doesn't care when you win the North London derby. He doesn't care that we beat Man United 6-1. Like, whatever. Get on with it. I want to win trebles.
Mm. Yeah, he's very much focused more on silverware and trophies than he is on, we won the North London derby for the 2nd time this season.
Carlo Ancelotti had Cafu, Jaap Stam, Paolo Maldini, Alessandro Nesta, Dida, Clarence Seedorf, Pirlo, Shevchenko,
just those
Kaká.
names.
That's who he had. And now he's dealing with Richarlison having a whinge every week, and they're 7th.
I can't stand Richarlison.
Because it doesn't connect. I don't understand it. And I promise you, it's this thing of, can you manage a team without money? These guys, listen, when you get to a certain level in life, you have nothing to prove. Get the most attractive girl or guy who's an adult. You deserve to date them. Don't listen to people asking whether Mourinho could manage a team. Folks, he won 2 trebles in a row with Porto. With Benny McCarthy at striker.
That is incredible.
You tell me he can't manage. Like Mourinho, but it's this thing, right? Ego, men. You want to keep proving it. You have nothing to prove. Pep Guardiola is a model. I am not going to a club unless it's stable and it's a top club. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Man City, and who knows next? Maybe PSG next, and then sayonara.
I think if Pep goes to PSG, that's a fall from grace.
Well, I tell you what happens is he wins the Champions League. It happens. And then what? What do you say then? He wins everything and the Champions League.
Yeah, maybe PSG have a good bunch of players in... I don't even have to mention names. But...
Listen, everybody wants to play for Pep.
True, but you're going to a league where the only winners for the last Lord knows how many seasons has been one team
Go to
and
Italy.
one team only.
Yeah, go to Italy. Maybe he goes to Juventus. Well, how about that? So I've dominated Spain, dominated Germany, dominated England. There's only one left, like you say. Hey,
Yeah. I
Then-
don't think
sayonara, Juventus.
I don't think France is an elite league.
I'm kind of saying.
I think
you know,
Italy is like that'll be
Juventus. He's going to Juventus.
that'll be the finisher.
Yeah, Juventus, win everything there, win the treble.
Yeah.
Sayonara, I'm out.
I mean,
I'm going to become a fisherman.
a fisherman
Yeah.
on my 40 million euro yacht.
Yeah, that's what I'd do if I was paid. But my point is, everywhere he goes, he wants elite. And what he does is, if you noticed at Man City, he sets up the board. So the board always follow him around, right?
Yeah.
That's what he does. He's elite. He's not going to apologize and hear people saying, "Oh, you can't do it without money." Screw you. I've paid my school fees. I'm out of here. I don't need to prove anything. Carlo and Jose, I think they're trying to prove a point, and it makes no sense to me. You have nothing to prove. You're legends.
Especially when you're Jose Mourinho and you've already had a small fall from grace. You've gone from Real to United, where you kind of struggled a bit and didn't quite do.
But another
what
mismatch.
you could have.
Another mismatch.
But I'm saying that's the thing, though. I think Jose trying to prove himself the second time around, everyone's tired of it. You tried at Man United. We get it. You're a good manager. You've won trebles and stuff. Go and manage AC Milan.
Dude, same thing. Man United right now are a 4. Jose's still an 8. Shouldn't have gone to Man United. Man United are a 4. Nobody wants to marry. Listen, if you were dating Man United, let's use this analogy. I don't want to introduce Man United to my parents.
Oh, no.
It's a mess.
No.
They've been 5 out of the last 8 seasons. They've been in the Europa League. No, thank you. I'm Jose Mourinho. Like, no. Pathetic. And the Carlo thing makes no sense to me. There's no reason he's not at Juventus again, or he's at Roma. He could be anywhere in Italy.
When was the last time he proved himself, though?
My thing is, he's had a rough, right? PSG, nobody wants to be there. My thing with Carlo, also these managers, just wait for a great job. They're going to open up. Chelsea will be open. Abramovich is ready. He'll take you back. Because remember, Carlo did the double at Chelsea. Just wait for these jobs. Wait for Man City. Why didn't Carlo wait for Man City? Pep's probably got, another year or two, and then just wait for the job. Like, no, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get these people in life who think they can fix people. Spurs and Everton are junk. They are junk. They are absolutely rubbish. It's not rubbish. We're going to do what we call in the biz an intermission now.
An intermission?
Yeah. Big production.
I got to pull it up, don't I?
Yeah, listen, my name is MKT. This show is named after me, and that feels very, very good. A lot of people say, hey, how does that feel? Got a bit of an ego. Damn right I do.
You do.
I do. You better believe it. And I will not apologize for it. It feels good. Do you know what feels even better? If you're listening along with us, it is awesome to have you with us. All of your support, by the way, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, you will see why it's been so awesome. I cannot wait to reveal to you what we've been working on for 3 months now. So thank you to everyone who supports us. And before we go to the intermission, if you're a heathen like James and you use Google Podcasts, or if you're a legend like me and you use Pocket Casts, or if you're a legend, you use cliffcentral.com, you use the Cliff Central app. If you're a heathen, you're using Apple Podcasts, please go and download the podcast. It is the MKT Show there. You can listen to it or not. Just download it. Go and rate us. Give us 6 stars on Apple Podcasts. If not, little greedy, maybe 6. Give us 5. I don't mind.
I want 6.
6.
I strive for the best.
James is Afrikaans. He says 6 of niks.
6. Wait, whoa.
All right. On that note, James, let's go to an intermission. All right. Had enough.
Yes, sir.
Intermission.
Sorry,
all right.
sir.
See you in a bit. And you know what United fans always say? Yes, he was our player of the season 3 years in a row. No, that's terrible news.
That is hard. Why is your goalkeeper I didn't even know that was a stat.
A real thing.
That is horrifying.
You shouldn't be. That means your defense has been horrible for a long time. By the way, that's part of the goalkeeper's problem. If your goalkeeper is the defensive player or the best player in your team, that's part of his problem. The keeper's job is to organize the defense. So as bad as it might be in front of you, legends organize. like organized.
I do.
You're a part of the problem. I don't want to hear, your centre backs or others bad.
Yeah.
No, the goalkeeper, especially modern day football, is connected to the defense. You don't get to get away with, your defense is bad. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And if you're making so many saves, you're not organizing your defense. That's not the whole argument, but it's part of the argument. I'm sorry. You don't get to get away with, but his centre backs were bad.
I miss seeing Van der Sar in goals. I do. He was incredible. I was not around to watch Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah.
But Edwin van der Sar was...
It's just like having your mom as the keeper, you know?
Dude.
Like everything's going to be okay. Don't worry. Like, go and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Vidic. You guys just... you know what I mean? Like, if you have your mom, it's just like everything's great. Even now as an adult, you know, like when I go and see my mom, it's like, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just like having your mom at goalkeeper, Van der Sar.
Dude.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Not sure where you were, but welcome back.
Can I just... Sorry, before we jump into anything. I got scolded in the break.
Let's hear it.
My brother sent me a message. You know, the better one.
You have two better ones. So it could be your younger brother or your
older one.
Okay.
And he, I think we've offended a whole group of people.
Let's hear it.
We said six off nicks, right?
Yeah.
It's ticks off nicks.
Ticks off nicks. Okay. And there's no way for James to know that because he couldn't get into a real university.
That's actually the second message my brother sent me.
Yeah.
He said you wouldn't know because you didn't get into real university.
And listen, just because something hurts your feelings, it doesn't mean it's not true.
Character building.
Well,
that's the way I look at it.
We'll see. James, you can't even remember what you had for dinner or watched last night. So you say character building. You know the thing about character building? You have to remember the stuff that built your character so that the character can build. So, yeah, there's that. There's that. Welcome back. By the way, we're a sports show.
We are.
Yeah. Sometimes a lot of people... Imagine someone jumping into the show now. Like they've never heard this show before.
You're wearing a football shirt.
Yeah.
There's other things going on.
We were speaking about... you made a mess of Freud just now. You didn't know who Nietzsche was. I mean, imagine if they jump in and we were talking... You trying to figure out who, what the human, what they call the super ego is. Imagine that.
The human condition.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole different.
It
yeah.
is.
Okay, sure. Let's go. Human condition. Is that something you Googled in the break?
No, it's just now that you're mentioning these psychological things, I'm having a lot of, like, I'm reaching back into my memory and I'm remembering certain things from after.
The human condition.
The human condition.
You want to take us through that, James?
Existentialism.
Okay, take me through that.
Have you ever watched or heard of a play called Waiting for Godot?
I have not, but tell us about existentialism, all right?
So, Waiting for Godot deals with existentialism,
okay.
Right? And it's about these two guys that are waiting for someone that never comes.
Sure.
The play is written by a guy by the name of Samuel Beckett.
Okay.
And even he doesn't know who Godot actually is. Could be God, could be anyone.
Mm.
And the overall essence of the play is we're all waiting for something.
Mm.
And what's our purpose while we wait? So we're all waiting to die.
Sure.
What's our purpose while we wait? Very existential. Studied it in high school drama.
Okay.
And yeah, it kind of makes you think. I read the play in like a couple of hours.
Okay.
And like on the day we got it. And it was just like, I was so into it. It was great.
Oh, you're so deep, Champs. Existentialism, huh? Any idea who came up with, who is the father of modern day existentialism for bonus marks, James? Although you went after, so you probably never got bonus marks, but let's hear it.
Do you know the answer to the question?
I do. His name is Soren Kierkegaard. And
never heard of him.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have.
See, here's the thing. So if we're going to teach people complicated stuff, they say if you can explain like the superficial level of it, you got to be able to explain things simply. So a guy called the Danish, very famous philosopher, and if you go to Copenhagen, you'll see a famous statue of him, Soren Kierkegaard, the father of modern day existentialism. So there you go, folks. You listen to this show, you never know what you're going to learn.
Are we a sports show?
We're a show. As far as I'm concerned, whatever you need to know, whether you need to understand the existential dread that may be underlying the human condition.
There you go.
Okay, there we go, James. Or you need to know what the super ego is. Or you need to know what 442 means.
Or you need to know why Neymar is... That's a social media with James.
Were you trying to link it in?
I was, and then it just kind of didn't...
You ran out of brain brain capacity like you did just now. So, yeah, folks, if you were listening before the break, James thinks the brain is like a hard drive.
I'm having a terrible day.
That's not on me. I'm great and I'm fine. I look after myself and I don't booze on Tuesday mornings or Tuesday afternoons or whenever it was.
If I boozed this morning, you would smell it.
Well, your brain, some of the stuff you've forgotten is astounding. Astounding. Okay, but let's move on to where you can actually read off a screen, James. And
yay.
Hey, I want to be positive.
Let's be positive.
Let's turn this day around for you, James.
Let's make the second half of the show the greatest second half of any show that's ever been on YouTube.
There are people listening to this. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe people are spending time listening to this. All right. I'm going to get into a segment now. People are saying it's captured the nation, captured the world, captured the hemisphere. It's called Social Media with James. James. Jimbo, what you got?
Social Media with James. So I'm going to basically do the same thing. We'll get to the YouTube comments after all of the stuff I found this morning.
That's good. A segment should be consistent.
And I also thought, let's give the people a little bit of a break from football.
There we go.
Today we're also speaking about the Pro 12, the rugby.
Correct.
So, let's branch out of football for a second. This weekend, there is a fight taking place. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, former UFC fighter. He's in the news. But before we get to that, have you heard of the musical lineup that's been put together for this fight this weekend?
I have not. To be honest with you, I don't really watch UFC, but okay.
Well, this is going to be boxing. Fight, okay. Yeah. So the musical lineup for April 17th, that's this Saturday. Justin Bieber,
awesome.
The Black Keys, Doja Cat, Diplo, Major Lazer.
Major Lazer, very good. Saw them live in Colorado. Very, very good.
There you go. A first appearance of hip-hop supergroup Mount Westmore. Never heard of them.
No.
Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Too Short, and E40.
I think it's great, dude.
That's wild.
The thing about entertainment, and a lot of people, hardcore boxers, hardcore boxing fans complain about this. Relax. More eyes on boxing. It's a brutal sport. So mom and dad often don't like it. But I'm happy with it. I don't know what people are complaining about. And it's sports entertainment. Like, sports hardcores, relax. Right? Relax. We need more eyes. And it's a different time. Like, Jake Paul's huge now, or whatever Paul it is. They're big names. They bring lots of money. And they're bringing a new generation of fans to boxing. Listen, even if 2% of the people that watch this stay as boxing fans, great for the sport. And then you bring the entertainment element. Why not? I love it.
I think it's incredible.
I love it.
I think
And I love boxing, by the way.
I think these...
And Paul's going to get hammered.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it's going to be
But that's
brutal.
the thing. So I think these reality/YouTube influencer stars that are trying to move into the space, like now the TikTok stars are boxing the YouTube stars, and it's a whole thing.
Cool.
I think some of them are going about it the wrong way. So, in case some people don't know, what led to this fight happening with Ben Askren, Jake Paul called out the Conor McGregor.
Okay.
Like the one that will rip your head off. Conor McGregor.
No, he's for real.
Yes. He called him out to fight him with a $50 million check, and there was a video that he posted on his Instagram where he was smoking a cigar in his Lamborghini, and it was just it was a lot.
Sure.
And I think that is where Jake Paul and these influencers are going wrong. I think you're going about it the wrong way. You're not going to, come from your platform where you have 15 million subscribers and then walk into a UFC ring with Conor McGregor. That's just not how it works.
Look, I think he knows that as well.
Gradually build it. You know what I mean?
No, he's never going to be Conor. Connor's the fighting Irish, right? But he knows what buttons to push. Like, also remember, his business is views and clicks and likes, being in the news.
Sure.
Like, he knows Conor. Conor McGregor's about to make $400 million, I read the other day, because of the whiskey, how he sold the whiskey and some of his investments. He's close to he's got a yacht. He sold the whiskey, I forget for how much, I think $150 million. He's worth around $350 million. Conor McGregor's not going to fight some bum Jake Paul. But what's cool about the Paul brothers is he knows. What's his business? Views. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many clicks that video would have got. Conor McGregor, are you kidding me? He's making noise. His job, his business model is be in the news. Be the news. I like it, dude. It's good business. He knows what he's doing. I don't think he actually wanted to fight Conor. He doesn't want that. Because honestly, that within 30 seconds, he will have his clavicle ripped out of place within 15 seconds. He knows
will
that.
be sleeping on the canvas.
And he knows Conor's not going to happen. The hell out of here. Maybe a bit of chat on Twitter. They might even organize that, right? If you haven't watched WWE, listen, that's a setup. In WWE, you set things up. So maybe that's on the deal, on the take, and pay a bit of cash to Conor to be. Maybe Conor even pitches up at the fight. You give him $1 million, and it keeps the circus going, right? That's good for YouTube, good for clicks, good for business. So listen. Old people, stop getting upset at these guys. They're brilliant. They're businessmen. It's a business. And these Paul boys, KSI, brilliant. I love it. And it's good for sport because, like I say, if boxing keeps 1% of the people that the Pauls get them interested, awesome. I love it, dude. People. It's a new time. Evolve. Like, there's nothing worse than people that stay in my day. Like, evolve. There's new kids now. It's awesome. And it's big business. If you're interested in business, you're interested in YouTube. Otherwise, you're not serious.
So there's actually another whole fight thing that's being set up between YouTubers and TikTokers.
Okay.
So it's YouTubers versus TikTokers.
Cool.
The one fighter who isn't, he's actually huge on TikTok. He's earning 5 million when he steps into the ring.
Yeah.
And another 1 million if he knocks out his opponent.
But that's big money. So these guys are big money.
Massive.
No, good for them. All right, what's next?
There you go.
Very cool.
So Jake Paul is in the news, though. This story actually kind of got me onto the other one. YouTuber Jake Paul accused of sexual assault.
Oh, no. Accused or?
Accused.
By who?
Justine Paradise.
Goodness gracious.
She's apparently a TikTok star.
Sexual assault, huh? How long ago?
Quite recent. I was going through Twitter this morning, and I follow him on Twitter, so it came up on my feed. And he posted this thing about, I can't believe that this has happened a week before my fight. I will use all the right routes to clear my name. This is defamation of character, blah, blah, blah. I was in a relationship at the time. This chick said it happened. So it's a whole thing. It's messy.
Hey, listen, something like that, it's a new time. You need to give that room to play itself out. Like, we can't start commenting on that.
No.
Oh.
So,
wow.
yes,
What
Jake
a thing.
Paul.
What a thing, yeah.
All right, back to football.
To sport.
To sport. Neymar. So I didn't watch the game last night because load shedding. And then I watched Ready Player One while the power was out. By the time the power had come back on, both games were in the last 5-6 minutes.
I'm shocked you remember that you had load shedding, but okay.
9 to 10, just saying. Neymar. I woke up this morning, had a look on all the socials.
What's Neymar got to say? I love that guy. I don't really.
Neymar versus Bayern Munich compilation shows why he is unstoppable at his world-class best. So, here's my thing.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
You love Neymar, huh?
Can't stand him. Makes me hate watching football games that he's in.
Jeez, what about him? What is it about him that...
Honestly,
yeah,
it's the diving. I watched the World Cup in 2014. I watched a couple of the Brazil games, and every time right before the game, I'd be like, "Oh, he's starting. He's just gonna roll around." And it irritates me when I watch football, and he's on the field, and it's one touch, and he's rolling 4 kilometers away like he did at the World Cup. Yeah. Remember that meme that came out where he rolled
spectacular, timeless, yeah.
And that's just the thing. So this headline says shows why he's unstoppable at his world-class best. Okay, I watched this compilation, and he had a good game. He did some flashy skills, and it was all great, and made some great passes, and won the crossbar challenge about 4 times. But that's the thing. Neymar has the ability to be a Ballon d'Or winning player, one of the world's best. But when he's playing properly, not when he's going for every foul, and every time a player gets near him, he goes down. Last night, he was actually... Players were pushing him around, and he didn't drop to the floor.
Yeah.
And it just shows because there's something on the line. This is for a place in the semi-final.
Yeah.
So this headline, I don't know. Neymar, in my opinion, has the ability to be the best in the world, but not if you're going to dive, buddy.
I would have thought you'd like him. He's on YouTube. He's on TikTok. He's moving. He's grooving. He's young. He's having a party. He's sunburning. He's at his
dating
sister's
his
birthday.
sister.
He's not dating his sister. James said that. I'd just like to say at this stage, the employer and the person who owns this show, James's thoughts do not reflect mine. But go on. Neymar's dating his sister.
James
says
he's flashy and it's all great for him. Just stop ruining football.
You know what? I as I said earlier, you are who you are from 6 or 7. I'm such a rigid personality. Listen, it's cool. Make your money. Whatever he's doing I just don't want him discussed with the best players. Number one, he's never available. Availability is your greatest ability. Neymar's shown me now he had one great season, and everything else has been mediocre to average, and he's been injured. He needed Luis Suarez and Leo Messi to be great. That's clear now. Don't give me PSG, right? But I'm a rigid personality. I always say, and PSG made a huge mistake. They're finding out now because they pay talent, not character and personality. I always say, pay production. And there's nothing about Neymar that's ever told me he's productive. Is he brilliant? Is he enigmatic? Absolutely. Man, he's awesome. He's not productive. Neymar's not productive, and you know how I know that? He's never available. If you are not available, you cannot be productive. It is impossible. So for me, Neymar is not world-class number one. But listen, we live in a YouTube world, right? People call Neymar world-class because he will have those moments. And another thing I cannot stand in life, right? Doesn't it seem like people who have drama in their lives create it themselves?
Yes.
So I've no time for Neymar having a whinge when people kick him. He's so disrespectful with the skills, right? If you're going to be that personality type, it's like Paul Pogba. I feel nothing for guys like that. If you're that personality, and I'm quite a confrontational personality, but I never whinge when people are confrontational back, is if you're going to be a certain way, you must deal with the repercussions, right? Neymar, if you're going to be on social media, your sister's party, sunburning, lockdown parties, don't be shocked that people are sort of put off by you, because that's what you're inciting that, right? Is don't be that and then be shocked. Oh my word, people are abusing me. Like, no. If you're gonna be a certain personality type, put up with the pushback.
Yeah.
Like the Pogba, Neymar personality types, they want everything. Like, I just want to be, flashy and whatever. It's cool. I like that. I like personality. Be yourself. Be brash. Be cocky, confident. But put up with the backlash. And Neymar, please do me a favor. World class.
Child.
Please.
Childish.
I'm not a fan, but listen, some people love him. And that's cool, but he's not for me. I'm rigid. You know what I like? Grown-ups. Erling Haaland. Grown-up. Pitch up, play, go home and train. I honestly, Bruno Fernandes. Grown-up. Grown-up. Kai Havertz. Grown-up. 20 years old, uniquely mature, pitches up. I love, oh my goodness. I love that. I love Gabriel Jesus. Could you imagine the pressure of being Brazil's number 9? Grown up. That's who Brazil's captain should be. Not Neymar. But this is the world we live in. We pay the shiny things.
Neymar comes with the name.
Gabriel Jesus is all talent but all character. So I'm a grown up. I will take production and consistency any day over talent. There's lots of talented people in the world. Pay character. And Neymar, sorry, and Brazil shouldn't have made him captain.
That's why I got this job.
That's why they're rubbish. Yeah, you're all character, no talent. Next, James, what we got?
That kind of hurt. I read this on Twitter last night. It's a stat that I've seen before, actually. I just thought it was mad impressive. Completely forgot about it. During his 11 seasons at Chelsea, Peter Cech faced 1,241 shots. Mm-hmm. He saved 1,000 of those. That means he only conceded 241 goals.
Now, let's be clear. He was a part of the greatest defense. Maybe... No, the Milan team with Maldini and Baresi was the greatest team with the great Carlo Ancelotti at right back, by the way. And some player, Carlo Ancelotti, was part of that great AC Milan team. That's probably what the Italians call catenaccio, right? That's the lock. So catenaccio defending the hinge. No, that's the greatest defense, that AC Milan team of the 90s. The greatest defense, though, that modern-day football's ever seen. Chelsea's defense. Peter Cech was a part of that. They conceded 15 goals in his whole season.
That's insane.
John Terry, Ricky Carvalho, real thing.
There you go.
I'm not shocked. Peter Cech. For
incredible.
Me, listen, once I reveal the surprise to you, I think hopefully it's next week we reveal to our listeners. I'm gonna start the Friday 5 again, and I'll start at the 5 greatest goalkeepers, and I'll tell you where Peter Cech is in that list. I'm not shocked though. As a Chelsea fan, I was living in London when Abramovich had just come in. So when that team was playing at its finest, I was there. 2005, they were unstoppable. Peter Cech.
Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Cech.
Peter, check that out.
Peter Cech. Scrum cap. Sorry, why? I don't know why they came to mind. Anyway, a little bit of good news. Exciting news.
I need that in a pandemic. What you got for me?
Man City and Spurs receive 2,000 tickets each for the Carabao Cup final. Great news there. Supporters being allowed back in the stadiums in the UK. The NHS and as a what are they, an NGO?
They're not. They're an organisation.
They're a corporation organisation.
Yeah, parastatal we'd call them in South Africa. Do you know what the NHS is, Jeff?
Yeah, the health people in England.
Oh, you know, they're the people that...
Yes.
Yeah, people get sick.
That's why I said this is good news. So
so they're not an NGO. So, by the way, NGO is non-governmental organisation.
I do know that.
So NHS is the government's health system. So they are the opposite of an NGO.
Okay, but anyway...
All right, go ahead.
They received 4,000 tickets.
Awesome.
For that Carabao Cup.
So 6,000 fans, huh? 8,000. Yeah. Oh, wait, how many did the NHS get?
5, 6, 7, 8,000. So NHS 4,000, Tottenham 2,000, City 2,000.
So 8,000 supporters at Wembley, huh? It's going to look like a drop in the ocean, but okay, whatever. It's great to have supporters back. Oh,
it's good.
No, not good. Awesome.
Incredible.
Science.
Amazing.
Man, like you can't beat fans. You know, I've said this before. Football was not meant to be a product. It is the people's game. It is a spiritual experience. When you're in unison, there is no experience on planet Earth, I believe. And I still say listen, I'm not religious, but the most spiritual thing I've ever done in my life. I've never felt so connected to other human beings. I went to the Super Classico in my young days, River Plate, Boca Juniors. To be in unison with people when something that powerful is happening, it's unbelievable. Football and fans are hand in glove. They need each other. One needs the other to actually be useful and function at its best. So awesome. Love it.
Incredible
Love
time.
it. Yeah.
Incredible time ahead.
Yeah, it is an incredible time ahead.
YouTube comments, and then I want to do the poll, and then social media with James is done.
All right, let's get into
Cool.
YouTube comments.
Rickus Swat says, James, what have you been smoking? This is not the Liverpool of last year. It'll be a miracle if Liverpool draw. With Liverpool, it's all about a pattern. 30 years bad, 1 year good.
What say you, James? That is some brutal feedback.
It's my gut feeling. I'm sticking to it.
Are you sure that's not indigestion?
Could be. I am fat. So
I didn't say that. Okay. Oh, wow. What are
look,
you gonna do about being fat, James?
I'm working on it.
Do you want to tell us what you're gonna do?
Can we not body shame me on the show?
No. You said you're fat. I didn't say you're fat.
Yeah, but we had the I'm fat discussion yesterday after the show, and we spoke about what I'm going to do about it.
So do you want to tell the listeners, or do you want to keep it? You want to grind and you want to hustle in the dark? Huh?
I wanna come out randomly and just be like, look how shredded I am.
I just want to say to your girlfriend before I don't know if she listens to the show. Just want to let her know. Psychology says when your partner starts working out, generally they're looking to fly out the nest. So I'm not whatever. I'm just telling you what's happening. That's what psychology says. I'm not saying that. Don't shoot the messenger. So weird that James is working out now. Who knows what's going on? All right, James. Sorry to discuss your personal life and possibly the demise of your relationship on a world-class radio or podcast and YouTube show.
There you go.
That's tough. It's a tough way to reveal to your girlfriend that she needs to have a conversation with you. Tough.
I know I don't have to defend myself. Yeah. So
sorry that it happened in public. All right, but that's brutal feedback, huh, James?
Look,
what are you smoking? Because you couldn't even remember what movie you watched last night.
I do agree with Rickus in the sense that it's not the same Liverpool as last year. That's obvious, but I'm still sticking to my gut. If we lose, then my guts let me down for the first time in quite a while, and that's gonna suck. But
it's gonna be a kick in the gut sack when you lose.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's
gut sack?
Testicles. It's an Americanism for gut sack.
What? Okay.
It'll be brutal. Listen, Rickus. Okay, James, so you saying Rickus can go to hell, huh? Basically.
No, that is not what I'm saying.
It's kind of what you were saying.
No.
Though. Wow. Okay, next question.
Cool Claire. Cool Claire. Spurs and Everton want to move up a level, and they need a top manager to reach that level.
Here's what I have to say. Institutions.
Right.
If you want to move to the next level, just like people, you need to go to the next level, and you will attract the right manager. Paying for that's skipping the gap. It's like young kids, right? And people that think if you send your kids, your rich kids to fancy schools, you'll build their character. Nope. There is no cheating the system. Everton and Spurs have to go through the pain of becoming a big club, building the foundation, employing the right football people, getting a better scouting network. Every big club has been through that. Sorry, trying to cheat the system by it's like, you know what it's like? It's like having a terrible foundation, but having the best chandeliers ever. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's not how you build a house. So I have to disagree there. But fair enough. Listen, if you're ambitious, you got to go for it. But you got to build from inside out. You can't build from outside in.
It's a great movie, Inside Out.
Haven't seen it.
Not going to give you a synopsis.
Okay, give us a synopsis.
Shoot me.
Well, do you want to recover?
Down.
Well, no, James. Learn to take feedback, just like Rickus. Is your movie review was terrible. What must I do? Must I be nice to you and then you're going to give another terrible... No, you're going to work on your movie reviews, right?
I think my review of Waiting for Godot and Existentialism was incredible.
You don't even know who Soren Kierkegaard is. How am I supposed to take you seriously? You don't even know what existentialism was. What's next, James? I knew more about existentialism than you did. That's a bad review. I'm giving you a review about the movie you're giving me a review about, with more detail and more depth and understanding. I mean, James, I don't want to be a bad person, but now you're making me out to be this bad person. All right, what's next?
Ricka says, Umbrello, you said a great club, but then you mentioned a no club like Chelsea.
Oh, that's brutal. Hey, Rikus is on fire today, huh?
Burst that bubble
Yeah,
real
jeez.
fast.
Yes, Rikus.
Thanks for joining us today, Rikus.
Freaking
We
hell.
appreciate your honesty.
You're not character.
There you go.
I don't have to like what he's saying. It hurts a little bit, but what do?
You know,
You bounce back.
you said it yourself. People are mean. So.
People are mean.
Rikus, I'm not saying you're mean. I'm just... Anyway, so
Yeah.
the YouTube poll result.
Yes.
Can Liverpool come from behind to beat Real Madrid tonight?
By the way, you can still go and vote Cliff C Sport on the Twitter monster, not YouTube, Twitter. Cliff C Sport.
There's 2 hours left on that.
Yeah,
on
so
that
go and vote. But what is the poll, Jimbo Illingsley?
Can Liverpool come from behind to beat Real Madrid tonight? 53.3% says no.
So that's half the people. More than half.
Just over half, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, James. It's not good. How do you feel about that? The people have spoken, James. Do you believe in... So you don't believe in democracy?
I pride myself in going
Might
against
as well be
the
Stalin.
grain. I pride myself in going against the grain and being unique and doing my own thing.
Oh, what a hipster.
Oh, God. No.
Oh, proven right again. James, my old man used to say, people will show you who they are. And you just, again, you see, you couldn't hide. The hipster. I pride myself. Oh, how brave.
We have 2 comments from the poll, just real quick. Lucky says, I don't want them to come back, but they can. I'm on your side, kind of, because they can, but you don't want them to come back, Lucky, so...
Maybe supports Everton. You don't know that. Man United fan.
There you go. Cabello said, tonight's game will be one of those that's won by the team that's the least bad on the night. Both teams have major issues.
Yeah, it's true. Both are trash.
There you go.
Both are trash. It is the worst Real Madrid I've seen in a long time. And Liverpool are there. You should fire the manager. Both are trash.
Yeah. Social media with James.
James.
Nailed it.
James.
It.
All right, good stuff, Jimbo. Good stuff. That's James. He's got a segment. He's got a segment on the show.
Oh, I'm hopefully going to have 2 soon. With
Yeah.
movie reviews. I've just got to work on my movie reviews.
No, that is not going to become a segment.
Please.
Because, James, how's it going to become a segment? You couldn't even... I had to explain the core function of one of the movies to you, and I hadn't even seen the movie. I didn't even know you were going to talk about it, and I explained it to you. How's that your segment? Explain that before we get into the next segment. That's not a good movie
You know what
segment.
I'm going to do? Okay, I'm going to put a poll on the Cliff Central Twitter.
Yeah.
And say, should James have his own movie review segment
All right.
on the show?
Put it out there.
And then we'll leave it to the audience. If it's a no, it's a no. If it's a yes, sick.
Okay. All right. But if I can explain whatever it is better, your next movie review, big pressure, if I can explain it better like I did with existentialism than you, and I actually know what existentialism is across the board, right? Then that's the end of that. Sorry. You can talk about movies, but we're not having a segment for that. Right. That's what's happening.
That makes me sad.
Okay,
So, wait, am I putting the poll up or no? No poll?
Not today. We'll have it tomorrow.
Okay.
Should James have his own movie review segment? Not a good start, but, you're a good guy, James.
I try to be.
You're a good guy.
I do try to be.
After. Bloody unbelievable. Okay. Let me tell you what else is unbelievable. We'll talk a little bit of rugby. So if you don't know, the Rainbow Cup starts this weekend. Little rugby thing that's happening. Big South African teams going up north. Going up north. The Pound is a calling, and somebody picked up the phone and answered. Before we get into that, listen, the worst thing in life you can do, take it from me, from my personal experiences, my 20s were a mess. Worst thing in life is not trying your hardest. It's the worst thing. Like, people call it regret. It's deeper than that for me. If you don't try your hardest, if you have an opportunity and you don't try hardest, it's the worst thing in the world. If you're young and listening to this, whatever you're doing, you don't have to like it. Just try your hardest. The second worst thing is outsourcing your problems. Folks, we all have problems. Learn to fix your problems. It hurts in the moment. Trust me, in my 20s, I created so much drama, so much negativity. But I learned to fix it. Did I like it at the time? Somebody forced me to fix my own problems. Now, the thing about life is this. It's always more comfortable, right, to fix your own problems on your own accord. Because at some stage, life will force your hand, and that is so much worse. It is so much worse. South African rugby has had forever to fix its own problems. And then a little thing called COVID came along. Life's always harder when life forces your hand. COVID forced SA Rugby. It forced SA Rugby's hand. Forced them to acknowledge their problems. SA Rugby has no brand. SA Rugby had no product. SA Rugby had no systems. COVID didn't shut SA Rugby down. SA Rugby did. They got no brand. They're nothing. And they've done the worst thing ever. They've plastered over their problems and let's fix it with money. Let's go overseas. Folks, New Zealand and South Africa should have at least tried to make something work. We've got billionaires in this country. They should have built a product. Sell all the unions to billionaires. Let us build a brand, NFL style. Nope. Let's take it up north. Let's solve our problems with money. Folks, when you outsource your problems, you create more problems. Because eventually, you know what happens when people know you can't solve problems? That's a character issue. And eventually, when people are grown-ups, they can see through you. I'm not going to associate with this person. They haven't been through anything. They don't know how to solve problems. And let me tell you what successful people love. People who can solve their problems. South African rugby is going to go up north, and they're going to go, who are these buffoons? What are they doing here? The other problem is that our Southern Hemisphere players are going to go there and see, oh my goodness, is this how professional teams play? I'm gone. Sharks lose their players. Bulls lose their players. Stormers lose their players. Lions lose their players. Players aren't stupid. It's a brutal game. They're going to play in England and go, my goodness, is this how I'm supposed to be treated? When you outsource your problems, folks, if you're having problems in your marriage and you go and talk to your mommy and daddy, eventually you come home. Those problems still exist. You buy a nicer car when you got problems with your wife, with your husband, with your children. Those problems still exist. SA Rugby is not solving anything because the structural problems of scouting high school players, treating them like they should be treated, giving people contracts, developing our coaches, having the right systems to make sure our players can go from under 6 to under 8 to under 12 to under 15 to Craven Week to international rugby are still going to exist. This doesn't solve anything. But worst of all, Northern Hemisphere rugby is a joke. So our rugby standard is going to drop by 50% because we're not playing the All Blacks anymore. We're not playing any New Zealand teams anymore. Folks, how do we prepare for Test rugby now? I don't care about Gloucester against the Bulls. It's a rubbish level. We're going to roll all of those teams. Oh, we're going to roll them. Who cares? I don't want to watch the Bulls against Gloucester. I don't. Because who cares? Rubbish brand. Rubbish players up north, by the way. Rubbish. If you watch the Six Nations, are you kidding me? I said it. Affie's first team could beat every one of those Six Nations team in one day. Just play the same Affie's team 5 games in a row. Or Six Nations, whatever it's called. Bring all those teams. Play the Affie's team. Maybe give the Oaks a bit of biltong and boerewors. And they'd smash all of those Six Nations teams. These teams are going to be embarrassing. SA Rugby is not going to be testing itself against the best. Now when we pick the Springboks and they got to play the All Blacks, guess what? Folks, don't outsource your problems. SA Rugby's outsourcing its problems. Yes, you're taking the pound. But let me tell you something about when you're a guest at somebody's house. Eventually, you know what people do? When are you going home? We've all been guests somewhere. Mom, dad, uncle, cousin. Eventually people go, when the bloody hell are you going home? That's going to happen. And then what? SA Rugby is going to have to deal with the problems that's sweeping under the rug now. Then. This isn't solving anything. It's solving nothing. We should have a Curry Cup that is a model for world rugby as it was in the 90s. That's not hard because we've already got the cult fan bases set up. It's embarrassing for me what's happening. Folks, rugby is a cult sport. It's not like anything else. It's a niche sport. It's actually really an elitist sport. Rugby is really an elitist sport. It's tough to get people to go and support Gloucester against the Lions because there's already so few people. You haven't worked on the brand in South Africa. I don't want to watch Gloucester against the Lions. I don't care. Folks, elite sport is about two tribes competing. I have to know the story of the other tribe. Like, if it's the Bulls against the Stormers, I understand. It's a north-south divide. We have that narrative here. What are you selling me Newcastle Falcons against the Stormers? What's happening there? Why am I getting up at an uncomfortable time? Why am I switching over from Newcastle versus Arsenal for that? Rugby's made a bad mistake. It's a sad day. And by the way, no chance it works long term. It makes me sad. I love rugby. Some of my best days in high school, rugby tours. Great sport, by the way. If you understand it, it's for very few people. Not everybody can play. It's a super expensive sport. So it's already hard. It's got lots of rules. Rugby's already struggling to have fans. The Rainbow Cup is not a product. It is a short-term solution. And I don't like that. I think rugby had an opportunity to build in South Africa, go to America, China, and Japan, and they've missed a chance. And worst of all, the product is going to suffer. It is, I guarantee you, it's going to suffer. Northern Hemisphere rugby, I don't care who you are. Northern Hemisphere rugby is second and third tier. Folks, honestly, honestly speaking, the Crusaders would win the Six Nations. And they'd win it easily, by the way. It wouldn't be like, oh, that's close. You send the Crusaders up there? Are you kidding me? The Sharks, as they set up right now, they'd win Six Nations easily. I'm looking forward to the Irish and British Lions. But that's going to be 3-0. If you don't believe me, the Northern Hemisphere always gets our C and D players who we don't want to keep and pay. CJ Stander, lovely guy. Spoke to some people who know him. They say he is the nicest guy. But CJ Stander wouldn't get in that era's Springbok fourth team. And he went to Ireland and he is revered as though he's the second coming of Jesus to Jerusalem. Sorry, but CJ, you're not getting in the box setup. Forget it. Not close. He doesn't even get in the training squad. Warren Whiteley, who was the best Super Rugby flanker and possibly one of the best flankers in World Rugby for 2 years before the injuries really came. Warren Whiteley couldn't get in the Springbok team. You think CJ Stander's getting in? Folks, we got CJ Standers now in Paarl, in Bokkerveld, in Bloemfontein. We breed those guys. Please, man. We got the best school rugby system in the world. But what are we doing with that talent? We're going to shop it to the north. They're going to see the pound. Players are going to see how they should be treated. And they're not coming back. If you think SA Rugby has problems now, I know everybody's celebrating. And the only thing I'm happy about in this situation, I've said it before, rugby is the most brutal sport on this planet. Rugby, boxing, UFC. No pads, no pretending. There's no helmets. That's a real sport. That is an honest sport. That is brutal. Players have been criminally underpaid for far too long. They're going to get paid now. But it's going to be one generation. And then the Northern Hemisphere teams are going to go, what do we get associating with South Africa? Nothing. You come here, you roll our teams, because that's what's going to happen. It'll take 4 or 5 years. Right? Eventually we'll figure, or maybe not, 2-3 years, we figure out their rugby. We got better athletes. We got better coaches. We got better everything. That's why, look at all the teams. If you don't believe me, go and look at the teams. Eddie Jones, where's he from? Southern Hemisphere. Sorry, like the North, come on. It makes me sad. No chance it works long term, but I'm happy the players get paid. James, you went to a traditional power rugby school, huh?
Well, they were a power rugby school at a point.
Yeah, but I mean, they're a traditional,
yes,
an old...
Yeah, a boys' school, Easter Festival was a thing.
And you know what rugby's like in this country. Even if you didn't play it, but you know when it's a rugby Saturdays at your school.
Oh, it was huge. Even outside of the school, we'd do the usual thing of having a braai and watching the Sharks play the Bulls or watching the Springboks play the All Blacks. And I'm not super invested in rugby, but just like having everyone around and watching your country play or people that represent their provinces play against each other, it's nice. It's incredible.
It's a real thing.
It is. I do think though that our, in terms of our school setup and our sort of breeding of players, you said we have an incredible system set up. It's okay. Yeah, we have Craven Week, and then what's the other younger ones called?
Yeah, well, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Well, I just mean the schools keep producing great rugby players.
Sure.
For me, I've always said the most professional rugby in the world is South African school rugby. In the world, by the way. Not in the world.
I think schoolboy rugby is absolutely insane.
It's the most professional rugby in the world.
So at Saints, during the Easter festivals,
I didn't say what school you went to, but now you've just told everyone. Now everyone knows you're a douchebag.
I could have meant St. John's.
Sure.
Could have meant St. Benedict's, St. Stithians. Which one is it? That's three already. St. David's.
There's only one that gets called Saints, though. No one calls St. David Saints. But anyway, James, go on.
So when I was at Saints,
Mhm.
during the Easter festivals, we'd all like gather. So the Saturday game was the huge game. That was the game. It was compulsory for everyone to be there. Grade 8 to matric had to be there. Had to sit in the stands. Before the game, you go up to the quad and you get your face painted. And then at about the game's usually at 12, and then at about 11:30, we're all done with the face paint, and we walk down from the chapel, which kind of almost overlooks the first team rugby field. So we walk down from there as a school and as a group, and all the parents parents are sitting there on their stands, and then there's a section where we sit and do our walk rides. All the parents sitting, and then when we arrive, all the parents have to kind of like shift. But it's just that whole camaraderie, and there were Easter festivals when it was raining and no one left. Like, we would sit there in the rain with like paint on our face and just be singing war cries. And schoolboy rugby is just, I think that's where a lot of people fall in love with rugby. But I don't know. I think we breed incredible athletes.
We do.
But I think the overall setup from grassroots into SARU and into different unions could be a little bit better because...
Oh, no, that's terrible.
No, it's horrible.
Which is why I said school rugby setup is unbelievable. Trust me, I've been, you saw it, and I played in it. It is the most professional in the world. Professional rugby is a joke. Not just here, everywhere. It's a joke. The All Blacks are the only people who take it seriously. I mean, you know how serious you guys take it. I have friends that used to play at Uffies, that used to play at Grey Bloem. And by the way, I said Uffies just now. I meant Grey Bloem's first team could beat the Six Nations team. Grey Bloem, it's beyond professional.
Best rugby school in the country.
In the world. No, in the world.
Really?
Of course. So that's Grey Bloem is a rugby factory.
Oh, they have... Oh,
I didn't want to go through it.
Players on their alumni list that have made Springbok rugby.
But even then, they've been the best. They're the best rugby school in the world, and we have the best rugby schools in the world en masse.
We do.
Oh, not close.
Our schoolboy rugby is, and I think it's also a culture thing. Our schoolboy rugby, it's that thing of. We used to travel down to Kersney once a year, so we'd take turns. So Kersney would either come to us or we'd go to them. And that whole culture thing of, going there and then being away from home, just to be there for the first team.
Yeah, the lads on tour, huh?
Incredible.
The best. And listen, again, it's tough if you didn't go to these types of schools. It's however you think it was. And again, I can only speak as a guy. So I'm a meathead, right? I'm not like a uber intelligent person. I'm a meathead. I love sport. I love hanging out at the Oaks. Love the boys.
With the boys.
Hey, boys.
How's it?
So if you're into it, like I am, like I'm into sport. I'm into like locker rooms, and it's what I miss most about playing. In fact, it's probably the only thing I miss about playing sport is the locker rooms. That's the best part of all of it. Like if you're playing, you're talented. Like if you're in the team, whatever, you're good enough. The best part is the lads, dressing room, winning, losing together. It's just you can't replace that. And what you're saying as a supporter. I mean, listen to what you sound like. How do you recapture that if it's the Lions against the Newcastle Falcons?
I mean, even at this point, I have no interest in watching the Lions versus the Free State Cheetahs.
How bad is that? It's
horrible. I think South African rugby are missing many opportunities to commercialize and monetize rugby as a sport in South Africa, because we are, is it 3-time World Cup
champions,
winners?
Yeah.
So our rugby in this country, it's kind of okay.
And for me, you know why it's highlighted how bad it is there are lots of these boys' schools.
Yes.
Where there's a cult-like mentality.
Yes.
So you've got primed viewers waiting to watch something elite. Like, we come out of school, you remember, or I remember certainly when I was 18, even though I went to football, but I still was checking on my school and Alex, how's our rugby team this year? Did we beat, for us, did you beat Michael out?
Yeah.
Like, I did that for 4 or 5 years after school. So I was in a cult. I was ready. Sell me rugby. I'm primed. So in psychology, if you're gonna manipulate somebody or try and manipulate a society and all these terrible people over the last 50 years, what you do to society is there's a term called you prime people before you're going to manipulate them. So it's usually used for negative things, but you prime people. So James, next time you have some terrible news for your girlfriend, you need to set her up for that terrible news. It's called priming. So go and Google that afterwards. Yeah, since you were talking about the super ego and Freud earlier. I was primed for rugby to be sold to me, and you still can't sell it to guys. You can't keep a captivated audience captivated. They already, Oaks are coming out of Saints and St. David's and whatever, all these big boys schools, Pretoria Boys High, all these great organizations. Guys are in a cult-like, sort of hyper-stimulated state, ready to watch rugby, and you can't fill your own stadium at Ellis Park.
It's so at Saints.
You get more people at rugby derbies, Grey Bloom, Grey PE, than you do at Ellis Park for a professional rugby team that has millions of rands for marketing.
So that's actually the funny thing, right? So you speak about being primed to have rugby salty. So 4 or 5 years after you've left Saints or left a big boys school that has an Easter sports festival, you still end up going to Saints to watch the sports festival. Yes, you're in the beer house and you're not singing war cries, but you want to be there and watch that schoolboy rugby again and watch how the rugby kind of has changed since you've left. When we used to go to games at Loftus, when the Bulls would play, because my mom would get tickets quite often, so we would go to these games, and the stadiums were just almost lifeless. Like, there'd be people, but it wouldn't be like anthems or anything. And then, like 3 months later, we'd go to a Springbok rugby game against the All Blacks at Ellis Park, and just the scenes.
Because rugby is a cult sport. It's a very unique sport. No other sport. You know why? Because it's the most brutal sport. And brutal sport, if you think of, you go and read history, and they'd speak about the fervor of the crowds, is they would be cult-like for their warriors. Rugby is the warrior sport, right? Boxing, UFC, but rugby is raw violence. You have to have cults to support that sort of madness. Only cults can support, because rugby's madness, right? That's controlled violence. That is controlled violence.
Kind of insanity.
And the only way to actually get people to watch that sort of brutality, they must be primed, which is why you need to go to these boys' schools, and you know how they brainwash us from grade 8 to we are the best. It's us against them. You create these narratives, our tribe against their. It is the most cult-like sport ever because of the violence, I believe.
Yeah.
Why would I want to be in the Lions cult? Where's the Lions cult? Where can I go and hang out with the Lions fans? Like, I know where I can go hang out with Hilton boys, Michael Class boys, Saints boys. I know where I can find those old boys. They have old boys unions. Where can I go to if I'm a Bulls fan today in South Africa?
Where do you go?
Yeah, where can I go to buy Bulls memorabilia and maybe hang out with a Bulls fan and talk about the great Derek Hogarth teams? You got no idea. You got to create a tribe. It's called building a brand, right? Saints is a brand. St. David's is a brand.
So I think that's what they've kind of tried to do with these setups like Craven Week and these Grant Cornwall weeks, these youngster weeks that they have in the middle of the schoolboy rugby season. they try and create that tribe or that following. So if that first team flanker has been chosen to represent the Lions, for example, and you impress, you move through the Lion system and you become a Lion. But I think there's a gap.
You're right.
There's a huge gap because players aren't coached on that kind of stuff. So I know a player that was at Saints. He was like the star player. He had an incredibly bright future like ahead of him, and he got snapped up by the Sharks, I think in grade 11 or 12. After matric, he moved to Durban, started with the Sharks, played a couple of, I think it was Currie Cup games for the Sharks, impressed, had a couple of injuries, and then the Sharks let him go. And I think that's where it kind of ends, because I followed this guy, and as I'm sure many Saints guys did, followed him and his journey through. You've played Craven Week, you've played SA under whatever.
Yeah.
You've gone into a Shark system.
Yeah. Probably went out with the girl you guys all wanted to go out with.
I have no idea, but probably. You've gone into one of the best Sharks teams. I think it was when Pat Lambie was still there. They had an incredible Sharks team at that time, and then he just kind of got let go by the Sharks because of a couple of injuries. That's where I think the gap is.
That's why I say is this idea that moving your provinces to go and chase the pound, because that's all they've done, is going to solve problems. It's not, because I know in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, the English are going to go, is this how you run your...
Yeah.
Why would English teams want to come and play at in Hillbrow? Like, why would Oaks want to... Why would they want to come here and not feel safe in the country? Why would they do that? Why the English teams? What is the incentive for English players to travel, get on a plane? It's an 11-hour flight from London.
Surely playing against, because you say South Africans have this incredible reputation in rugby of being these absolute monsters and animals. Surely that's the thing. Like, you want to come to South Africa and play South Africa at Ellis Park and, try and come out with a win against these Springboks. 3-time World Cup winning.
No, the Springboks is a different thing. I'm talking about local rugby. And I mean, there's big problems with the Springboks on its own. There we just survive because we have the best athletes in the world, in my opinion. Why, if I'm the Newcastle Falcons and I'm a Newcastle Falcons player, rugby's already brutal enough. Why do I want to jump on an 11-hour flight to fly to South Africa?
That just makes no sense.
Like, how's it adding to my brand? Because they're going to pitch up here. By the way, Premiership stadiums are packed in rugby. They're going to pitch up at Ellis Park, 60,000 seater. It's going to be empty. You could hear a pin drop. Why am I flying 11 hours for that? What's that adding to their product?
I think what they're going to be relying on is the novelty of it.
Yeah.
Come and watch the Lions as they take on the Newcastle Falcons for the first time in the Rainbow Cup. Or it's going to be a novelty initially.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to kind of die.
No, of course.
Like Krispy Kreme or Starbucks. It's everyone knows it's there in South Africa now. Great news. You can go to Sandton City for Oismore. There's Krispy Kreme. Sick. But there's no longer queues outside those stores anymore. It was initially, but it's going to die off.
No, we're not connected to that. Oaks are still brying, or Oaks will bry forever. And the young player thing is something great that you mentioned. And I was talking to somebody about why local unions, the Lions should want to go to Saints and find the best player and go to St. John's and Monument and all these schools. Because when the player leaves, it's actually bad for the player, it's bad for union. Again, for you Oaks, you would follow the Lions if there was 3 Saints guys, 3 St. John's guys. Imagine. They're all here, they're local boys. But also, if the player does it very rarely works. Because at 21, 22, guys are idiots. You start giving boys 50,000 Rand a month, right, with nothing to do because players only train an hour and a half a day. You're asking for trouble. He's away. So if you keep your own players, they can go home. They're near their families. People are more disciplined when mom and dad are around. 23, 24, you need your family around. It's very unique to travel. That's why it doesn't work with most players, right? And then that's why our brands are dying, is that our players are going overseas.
Yeah, because that's where the...
and it's sad.
It is. I think, I know at Saints, I think what they've done at Saints is they've tried to sort of curb it in the sense that they've brought in over the last couple of years, and even when I was still there, they brought in like former Bulls frontline coaches, or former head coaches at the Lions, or whatever. And I think that's where they've kind of tried to do a setup, but I don't know if it's working.
Listen, I'm not worried about school rugby in this country. We've got the best people. I mean, some of the rugby coaches that are coaching at the top boys' schools are some of the best in the world. And I know what my school first team rugby coach gets paid.
Is it impressive?
Get out of town.
All I'm saying is Malcolm Marx is, he came from Kes.
Kes guy, yeah, wrong school.
But I'm saying, he's gone through the system. He's got a World Cup trophy.
Some player.
I'm just saying.
Some player and some guy. All right.
There you go.
Jimbo, good stuff. I don't know, man. Makes me really, really sad.
Good.
Really, really sad. Before I go, Zapeta says, I'm not interested at all in the Rainbow Cup. The New Zealand teams playing each other is more entertaining. And that's a South African saying that. He says, having gone to one of these rugby schools, the whole week before a derby was about rugby. Education would be second.
Very correct. I think that week building up to like the St. John's games.
Great way to build.
Huge.
We're ready to be sold rugby. How are the Bulls stadiums so empty? Loftus is empty.
Dude.
Every stadium is empty. Listen, I still love schoolboy rugby. Right? I love going to schoolboy rugby. 15,000 chock-a-block. And by the way, beers are 50 rand.
Yeah.
So it's expensive, but it's packed. So don't tell me it's not a supporter thing. Oaks don't want. Listen, we're not stupid. People work hard for their money. I'm not going to go and waste it at What's the story with the Lions and Gloucester? There's no story there. St. John's, you better bloody believe I'm there. I didn't even go to either of those schools. Don't think much of either. But I'm there. I know the story. I know the narrative. It's tribe against tribe. I love it.
And the build-up.
Come on.
It gives me goosebumps.
As Zapeta said. You know what I mean?
It's insane.
So why can't they sell us rugby? And they want to go up north and tell me I'm gonna watch them play. Come on now. All right. Look, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. My name is MKT, right? Jimbo, it was a good one, huh?
I think today was a good show.
James, I appreciate you. By the way, James works really hard. Put the production together. So if you ever need it to listen, a James production, it'll have you on edge, but it'll come together in the end.
It will have you on edge.
It will.
Especially when our black magic isn't here for the first couple of hours before the show.
Yeah, all right. Most people don't know what black magic is and they don't care. But James, you got it together in the end. Good. James, I appreciate you, pal. Good show today.
Thank you.
Good stuff today.
Good stuff.
To you at home listening, thank you very much for joining us. Remember, you can get the podcast, The MKT Show. Please go and subscribe, rate us. If you like this on YouTube, click thumbs up. If you don't like it, pretend like this didn't happen. Go back to picking kiwis or whatever you were doing before this. Ladies and gentlemen, MKT is my name. The name of the show is The MKT Show. Cliff Central Sport. From myself and Jimbo Illingsley. It's been an honor, but for today, we are the hell out of here.